Yo, you're now in tune with the Lord Says special on Shade 45 at 4 p.m. And I couldn't leave the show without having special guest, Mr. Benard Hopkins. What is up, my brother?
What's up, what's up?
Got a big fight coming up.
Just December 17th, HBO.
I'm here to interview you, but there's someone here that knows about boxing, knows about, everything in general. Would you like to come out, please? This lady would like to interview you.
Hey.
And
That was really good.
She knows about your past. That's Miss Rosie Perez in the building.
She knows a lot about the sweet science.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
real.
why she never was on the HBO and like right there next to when you're interviewing and then
Why,
Rosie,
why am I not?
why
Because that takes a certain type of skill set. And to be honest, I thank you for saying I know a lot about boxing, Benard, but I don't know what he knows. And I think that if you have to be a color commentator ringside, you really have to know your stuff. And it has to pop off. It's just like Joe Buck doing the NFL. So you need that Jim Lampley, you need that Max Kellerman, and you need the color commentator on his level. I'm not on his level. He's going to tell you, oh, he moved inside, he threw that hook because of this. He's in it, sitting in his corner, wondering, oh my God, this guy's beating the shit out of me. I'm going to come back in. He's good. Well, he won't curse because he's a good guy. But so no. But that's why I'm not there.
On the job training. She's right. You have to know on the job training. You have to be quick with it, with all of the comments, and also paint a picture of education, of teaching in a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And Rosie's right. You must know the game. You must know things before they happen. So you have to have a foresight on what's going to take place before it happens, which makes you look even greater when you give your opinion on air, because now you can see the setup from my perspective. Like, I see a guy setting a guy up for a left hook. Before left hook even start off, because something is happening prior to the left hook being delivered. And so being a fighter and being somebody that understands the sweet science, I can be able to educate you while you're home before it happens. And obviously it doesn't manifest to be what it is 90% of the time, but if I'm more on a positive than a negative, it makes me look good. And I educate you at the same time.
Right, and also you also need nerves of steel, because I did co-host a boxing on ESPN, and I did well as the host. That means introducing the evening. But when Teddy Atlas asked me to sit down next to him, and I knew I was on camera, I have to tell you, my heart was up in my throat. I was really, really nervous, because you have to come with it and you have to be calm and cool and collective. So it wasn't easy.
Wow,
it wasn't easy. But hosting I could do, but what he does, no.
So something like, be like, okay, Rosie, give it to him. All right, now, 55. The dude that be whichever got his name, and he's like, 55, 51. That's the one I give them.
That's Harold Letterman. And that's really not that difficult to do, because he's not on camera. You just hear his voice. But as she say, when you on camera, and you know you're on camera, and there's no audience where you can have an eye contact or a body language, wherever you can feed off how they're responding to what you say. Mm-hmm. If I say something to you that you agree or disagree with, you would give me some type of, if it's not verbally, you'll give me nonverbals. And then I will register that as you either liked it or you didn't. That's the difference between my spit and somebody's spit that don't know what they're doing.
Right. What do you think about UFC? And like all
it's a sport. It's a spin. Let me tell you something. When I was asked that question years before, when Dana White and them first started off, it's $1 billion plus company has been sold, right? Yeah. Plus. It's a sport that shouldn't be attached to boxing in a way of the same sport, because both sports have their own pluses and negatives, like anything. So UFC is UFC, and boxing is boxing. What I think about it personally, they are athletes that I respect, because I know what it takes, Rosie, to be in this position of a boxer. And knowing that some of the traits of the UFC where you have to jab, you have to throw punches, and use other parts of your body to win and to get a guy in a submissive position. It takes some skill, whether we disagree or disagree. So I don't hate on another guy's occupation. And there is a separation between boxing, MMA, or UFC. And they should stay in that separation of conversation, because to mix each sport together as a competition of what's better, what's not, it's really disrespectful to both. That's my opinion.
I agree. I think it's like comparing American football to soccer. There's a ball involved, there's a field involved, there are goals to obtain, but they're two very different sports.
Good point.
Right, it's not like you're boxing, then you're losing the fight.
Let me tell you about
and
boxing.
You don't want to go and wrestle. And be like, what are you
Exactly.
doing?
And in boxing, what I respect UFC. I do tweet about UFC. I appreciate the women in UFC. I appreciate all of that. But my love is with boxing. And I'll tell you this, what people don't understand about boxing versus UFC, boxing says, here's 150,000 rules that you cannot break. You cannot do this, and this. Now kick my ass. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's very, very different. You can't throw a kick. You can't gouge him, grab his head. You can't throw him to the floor. You have to just stand toe to toe, and that's hard to do. That's really, really, really hard to do.
There's great discipline in what Rosie said, and there's great discipline and accomplishment all the time, because as we know, whether I was guilty at one time or not, those things, rules normally sometimes get broken. Not all the time, but sometimes things happens in the heat of the moment. Boxing is the sweet science. Just remember that of education. It's a sweet science. See, boxing and UFC or MMA can get confused of non-knowledgeable people that don't have knowledge of what both sports mean, or at least boxing. Let me talk about boxing, because boxing is the sweet science. What is the sweet science of boxing? It ain't about I hit you, you hit me. My job is to whoop your ass and stop you from hitting me. So if I can whoop your ass for 12 rounds and I don't have a mark on my face, and you're Floyd Mayweather, anybody else that got $30 million, and I don't have a scratch, and you're mad at me because I don't have my nose hanging off because I made this money by beating your ass and you didn't do anything to me, that's where the sweet science come in. How did we wind up in the same square circle? And I do the matrix on you for 30-plus minutes, 3 times 12, add the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? And I come out of there, and now you mad at me because my nose ain't hanging on my ear.
Frustrated.
Because I don't show you at home that I earned this money by being disfigured.
And what?
You hear my spit?
Brother, I hear you, man. And on that note, let's play some music and come right back. 888-742-3345. You got some MOP? Let's go tough, man. We got some tough people in here. Play some MOP, man. Annie up. And we'll be back right here on the Lord Said Special. Remember, call up 888-SHADE-45. Got a couple of calls, and we're going to come back and talk about your fight coming up. Yes. 888-742-3345. Can't have Benard Hopkins stay that long. We got to talk about the fight. Shout out to Rosie Perez. She's in the building hanging out.
Rosie!
Now, you got a big fight coming up.
Yeah, the final one.
Come on, man. This is the final, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
all right, man.
It's the final one on my terms. And, as Frank Sinatra would say, my way, which has been my theme song, for credibility of having the evidence to prove it was my way, not only managing myself for 90% of my career since 1995, remind you, it's 2016, and also teaming up with my partner, Golden Boy Promotion, on paper. Also now signing a deal with HBO as color commentating. Multitask all the time. Hustle never stops. These are the things that I recognize, and I didn't even throw family in there. Not that I put that away from the business side. That also takes management on both sides, and also personal business of longevity and generations to come. My kid. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. So I understand when it's time. The ones that know in sports, not everybody, we know the golfers, the basketball players, the football players, the boxers, the Kobe Bryants. We know when it's time. Kobe could have played another year or two if he wanted to and got multi-million dollars of doing it, and you know it. Right? No, keep it real,
yeah. No,
right?
that
But guess what he said? This will be the last year. I know it could have been 3 years ago, could have been 2 years ago, could have been after I won my fight in the Barclays Center with Travis Cloud, the IBF champion, became the oldest champion. History after history after history after history of making and breaking and records and all that. I know that to pick one of the toughest guys in the light heavyweight division that has an 80% knockout ratio punching power of his opponent, named Joe Smith Jr. from Long Island. Tough Irish guy that bleeds but never stops.
Damn.
This is a final, but not a walk in the park fight for me. And that's why I know that this is the final one based on my setup that I've set up while I was still doing what I was doing in the ring. And now it's time for that transition and that brand to be exploited to show the personality that you've seen so many times in the ring. Now you will see not only fashionable, but you will see it in my spit.
All right.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question, because you said it's not an easy walk in the park, Joe Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, because his fight against Fonfara was crazy. I mean, that was one of the greatest upsets. So what you saw him do to Fonfara, skill-wise, both fighters are not on your level. So why do you say it's not a walk in the park? Is it because of Joe Smith's power?
Yes, power 90% rules in every situation, because a guy can get beaten for 90% of the fight, but that power will always what? Call the bell man. The bell bounceman will bail you out.
Damn.
The bell, you like that spit? The bell man will always bail you out because power always rule in most cases. But when you're up against the Fox, when you're up against the Matrix, when you're up against, as they say, the old Kung Fu, get him grasshopper. When you're up against, in time, a person like me,
The alien.
I will pick
Yes.
I will pick that lock and I will make something different, which I have to do in front of Joe Smith. And Rosie said it clear. This guy upset a guy that was well on his way to be a light heavyweight champion and a superstar in boxing, and Joe Smith capitalized on that. So he wants to capitalize and taking a percentage of my legacy. And I must protect and preserve that by winning December 17th on HBO.
All right.
All right.
What time? 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock?
What time you go to sleep?
Shit.
Because I know you. DVR. Hey, listen. Whoever at home watching this at your house, make sure he DVR.
I'm up.
You up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
you
December.
Promise? You promise?
Yes.
17th.
I'm not going to do that,
Saturday.
man.
Yes.
HBO.
I'm not going to be in the crib, man. I ain't going to do that, man.
So who was your heaviest puncher?
My heaviest puncher, biggest.
Was it Kovalev?
Yes.
Kovalev put that
Yes.
hurt on you?
Yes. And guess who trained him?
I know.
He said right next to me.
I know. He's sitting right here.
Right there, looking
He's
like a young
sitting right
Superfly. The young Superfly.
Hold up. Malik. Where Malik at? That's what we call him. Listen.
One right?
What?
Young
Oh my
Superfly.
God.
That's what we call him.
Oh man.
Hey, listen, Curtis Mayfield is my man.
Oh,
Boy,
man.
Curtis Mayfield was so deep. You know what I mean? He said, if it's hell, Curtis Mayfield, one of his hits was, if it's hell below, we all gonna
gotta
go.
go.
I got it on my iPod. I mean,
man.
I'm a Curtis Mayfield man.
He looking at me like, now, where'd you get upset, nigga? Come on.
No, listen. Listen. He ain't gonna get upset. I need hair, and this man got a bun.
Damn. Good. Natural. It's a natural bun.
Isn't it? Yeah, this ain't no weed.
It's natural. You ain't
Come on,
nice.
man.
88 Shea 45, man. Yo, I know you gotta go, man, and I want to thank you for coming through.
No
That's
problem.
it?
No
Oh,
problem.
man.
Thanks. Listen, first of all, y'all been family to me
man.
and been supporting me.
man.
Thanks for having me in
Thank
your house
you,
before I head
man.
out to California. And it will be my final one. No Holtz. Final one.
But no, come
lose,
on,
draw.
man. You sure?
I'll be 52 January 15th on Martin Luther King's birthday.
You said 40 what?
52.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Lord Sears, can I say something? I just want to say thank
52.
you.
He want to say thank you.
Thank you, Benard.
You're welcome.
God
Thank you.
damn.
Of your sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could die at any time, and I just want to thank you for that because I enjoyed your shit all these years. You've
We've
been
enjoyed it
amazing.
immensely.
You are an asset to the boxing, and I'm just happy to be
And
here.
he still be. You
Yeah.
will still continue
No,
because
yeah,
you're a
but
color
in the
commentary.
ring,
And
I'm
also
talking in the
Golden Boy
ring.
Promotion, so I'm still involved heavily outside the ring.
Smart move.
Yes.
And thanks for respecting and especially Rose
100.
and family. But I want to say something to everybody in the audience
you.
and even people, even everybody's here. There's a lot of dream killers out here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that again. Big or small, there are a lot of dream killers. And dream killers are who? When you say you want to do something, or you say you got an idea, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, it's a waste of time. They are dream killers. Because if you're not careful about what you say, mainly to the young, to anybody, that dream killer can influence that person that's not as strong as us in this room to not take a chance.
Wow.
Peace.
Yeah. 8 Shade 45. Shout out to Rosie. Thank you for coming through, Rosie.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Pleasure.
Let's play some music. Come right back right here on the Lord Sear Special.